Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny, Medicare App, Backend API, Node.js inside. Today need to develop here the home screens, ads, image need to add, insert the database and also need to show this here the list in admin sides. First of all, we need to create here the tables inside the MySQL database. We need to open this here the MySQL and to creating here the add tables, we need to develop here. Now here opening this here the database and now creates here the new tables and to give this here the add detail and to give this here the columns need this here the 6 columns need to create here. First one need to give this here the add id create here the auto increment. Then afterwards need to set here the image, set here varchars and to give this here the 150 and blank. Then afterwards need to give this here the which time to show this the start and which time to end this show. We need to need this here the start date and end dates also need to needs here the start date need to set here the date time and current timestamps and also need to set here the end time end date need to set here date times current timestamps and we need to set here the status 1 and we need to set here the ones means here the active, 2 means delete like yours. Then after need to set here the created date, set here date and times current timestamps and add more one columns for the modify dates date time and current timestamps. Now need to save these tables for the add details. Now need to saving here and created tables are the done here. Now we need to go inside here the Node.js codes and to write down here the admin API for the adds here the image. We need to create here the new API and also need to image uploads for we need to use this here the form data API. We need to creating here. We need to use this here the multi-party API. We need to developing here. Now we need to write down here app dot post and we need to create here the slash API admin add new adds and like this creates request and response functions callbacks we need to call here like here. Now creates here the form variables need to declare need to write down here the new multiparts multiparty dot form methods need to call and to creating like this here the forms like this sets here. Now need to call this here the form dot parse methods need to call here and first parameters need to set here the request and to get this here the 3 callbacks errors request object and files need to files get here. First of all now need to check here if any gets any errors, then to throw this here the helper dot throw error htmls errors and response need to pass and to return these functions and terminate this here the call. Then after need to check this here the access tokens are the valid for this API calls. Need to check here check access token need to pass this here the request dot headers need to pass here. Then after need to give this here the response object and now need to get here the callbacks if valid. It's time to get this here the user objects need to get returns and these functions and also need to check here the required tabs. If check here the admin like this check need to set here always I is the admin tabs need to check required tabs. Now this is the creating here. Now need to call this here the some parameters valid, so need to check here the missing parameters. We need to check. We need to call this here the helper dot check valid. Check parameter valid, so need to pass this here the response object, request object, and then after we need to check this here the key. First ones we need this here the start date, then after end date. Like two parameters are the needs for these ads and another for the image. If valid, then to call here the function here's and to get here's. Again, so we need to check here's helper dot check, and to check here the files gets or not, so need to check here's request response file object, so need to use here's, and need to check this here the image key. If found, then to get this callback here in this function, need to get here's. Now this is the common structures we need to declares, and now we need to save this image inside the one folders. Now need to go inside the image, and image inside we need to create here the new folders and to give this here the name ads folders. We need to creating here. Now we need to go its issue ads functions, need to find out here and to write down here, copy this line of codes, explain in tomorrow. Yesterday, not tomorrow, yesterday we need to explain how to write down here the how to export get here the extracts the extensions and bind with here the file, like we need to write down and explain in details. Now again, so we need to copy this here the this line of codes we need to needs, and we need to paste here. If you not see here the yesterday video, please watch here the yesterday video inside the explain how to write down these functions. Now need to change this here the add, and like here the gettings here the image we need to write down and to save path we need to get this here. Now we need to call this here the db query, db need to write down here db dot query like here, and we need to open this here the database structures SQL, and we need to get here the insert query, remove here the add id node needs. Now start date, end date, and other states also need to remove. Need to three value needs here, image, start date, end date. Now set here the three question mark for the value, cut here this value, and we need to put here like. Now need to pass this here the values. First ones need to give this here the image file names need to set here first ones. Then after the request object dot start date underscore date, and request dots and underscore date, like need to write down here and to set this here. Then after need to get here the two objects errors and results, two callbacks we need to get here inside the functions. Now need to check against, if gets any errors then to throw and this functions calls. Now if gets here the results means successfully adds this image are the done here. Now need to again, so need to go and we need to copy this here this results, and we need to paste here. Now set here the add id start, maybe no needs to need to pass here to adds image successfully, and add new add files, like here the set this message, and we need to save this here. This is for the new ads API we need to calls creating here. Now same as we need to another API we need to develop here for the get all ads list need to get here. First of all, need to write down here the app.post, and need to create this here the XURL form encodes API need to develop here. API slash admin slash and to give this here the add list API creating here request and response, like get this here. Now we need to check this here the access tokens. Passed here the request dot headers. Then after need to pass this here the response objects and to if values. Then to get this here the user data in this function callback. Then and always need to check here the admin access, like this token is the admin users. Then need to write down here the pies for the admin user. Need to user types need to set here the pi means admin, like need to checking here. Then after need to write down here the db query and need to call here the db query inside, and we need to go inside the database, select here the add details tables and to call this here the select tables, and unused parameters need to remove here the modified dates years and cut this query, and we need to write down here paste this query and to write down here the status not equal to question mark, and we need to pass this here the value of the question mark, set here the 2 means here the delete use. Now need to errors and results, we need to get callbacks function here. Now need to check here if errors, then to call this here the helper throw HTML errors, need to pass here the error and response and terminate this here the function call. Then after if here gets any data, need to bounce then to response dot JSONs, and we need to write down here the status, set here 1, format this data, and also need to return this here the payload. Result like here's, and we need to returning these here's this result array we need to return for the response. And this is the add list API are the done here. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.